Dish Sports Media Podcast, and as usual, I'm that dude with the beard. It's Mr. KC over there, and we back, baby. What's going on, Mr. KC?
Another day back in sunny paradise. Thankfully, doing a little better than some of my neighbors, but still living the dream one step at a time.
I know that's right. One step at a time, indeed. Here, we all glad to see that everything's okay for you, especially down on that end, and all everybody who was affected by the hurricane and everything. Speedy recoveries for everybody. Uh, man, football it last weekend, man. What else to say?
Your boy hit on a few picks. Your boy
Hmm.
hit.
Yeah,
I had a little hitter of a weekend. Shout
yeah,
out to Jamar being the first comment. We always like the first guy.
right, yo. And yeah, definitely got some hits for sure here. I had a few hits here. I think the only thing that I pretty much nailed that I was most worried about was Kareem Hunt coming in and doing what he needed to do. And he
Right.
almost looked he was damn near getting almost almost six to carry. He was getting it done in between. And this is exactly what I like to see in another week of him acclimated. I know Rasheed Rice went down. Uh, we'll still have to see what that looks like on that end. But if Kareem was running like that, and he's really getting into Andy Reid playbook shape and stuff, dude, he don't look like he missed anything, dude. And that's how I felt like he's gonna come out with a resurgence. And I think it gets better for him going forward for sure.
Yeah, I think visually he slowed down half a step, but like clear cut the best option for the Chiefs going forward. And really just, I'd still take Pacheco over Kareem Hunt,
For
but it
sure.
would be nice to see like the 1-2 kind of combination. Like that could be real interesting real quick. Like,
Oh yeah, I think that's exactly what we end up seeing here. Um, definitely the combination of them both here. Pacheco being the more speedier back, if you say, but both of them run with power, which is what I really like. Because I mean, sometimes you just gotta run through a man and get the first down. Speed can't always help you. Sometimes you just gotta lower the shoulder and give it that boom, and that's what Kareem was doing. Even when he was even first contact, he was spinning off of most of them, still fighting for extra yards. Is exactly what you want to see. And like I said, once he's more acclimated, we'll see the big burst, the big gainer. We're seeing a few, but we'll see the breakout sooner than later.
yeah, and realistically, he had a real good offensive line for the Browns, but I think this is the offensive line for him than back in like 2018.
Oh,
If you
for
really
sure.
what he's putting up, I think it helps his situation where he can, for a power type runner, having a strong interior offensive line is paying dividends for him, and it's excellent to see because not to get down on Perrine, but there's just not a lot like the best way to look at it. You're looking at your 1 and 2 wide receivers gone, right? You got Travis Kelsey slightly underperforming, if we're going to be completely honest. You
Right.
got your 4 running back out. Like this, it's just amazing to see what Mahomes is doing with pretty much nothing around him. Like no offense to Kareem Hunt, but the Browns cut him. The Browns didn't even want him. He's sitting on the couch.
Well,
Week three
he
of the
had to go
NFL.
get that surgery and stuff. So, I mean, I wouldn't get him back too if I got Nick Chubb. I mean, it ain't like he was your feature back. So, I get
Well,
it.
they don't have Nick Chubb. They don't have
Huh?
Nick Chubb yet.
Right.
They don't
Well,
have
they
Nick.
didn't know that they wasn't going to be without him at the time they got rid of Kareem. But I
Yeah, it
mean, if
was just
history tells you, it should have told you something. Nick Chubb only plays about 6 games a season, baby, and they'll be amazing. They'll probably be the best 6 games you ever see. But we'll see anyway. We'll see. He should be back coming soon. I think they said he was only going to miss 4 or 5 weeks, so he should be on his way back.
yeah. Well, they desperately need it.
Oh,
They
for sure.
desperately need it. They're down in Cleveland. It
Oh,
is looking.
Oh yeah. But no, more importantly though, well not more importantly, I say that the Browns aren't important because they're I mean, well they're not, just to be honest, but um we'll end up seeing what Kansas City do to really round this thing out. Patrick Mahomes taking accountability, he need to clean his game up. That's the one thing that I'm saying, man. When you got more picks than touchdowns, there's something going on that you need to straighten out. No matter if
Yeah,
you are getting a dub, which is important, is to still get the dub. But yeah, you can't always get the dub if you always give them the rock away.
yeah, and to be honest with you, looking at what the Chargers had going on injury wise, I really kind of expected the Chiefs to run away with this a little bit more than what they did. You know,
Hmm.
17 was pretty game. And honestly, if it wasn't for that Kansas City Chiefs defense, you got to wonder if they win that game.
Yeah. Well, for sure, because they wasn't putting up enough on the offense to really solidify it. I mean, because yeah, the defense is what won the game and kept them from scoring another point the whole game. They didn't score the whole second half, so that goes
I
to
don't
show.
think it was just the first quarter even. Like they shut them out
Oh
the
yeah,
last.
yeah. Now I'm thinking about it, yeah, yeah. So that's 3 quarters without any points. So that's the narrative. That speaks for itself right there.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty wild to see for me. Let's hop into some of these other games, though. I know we can talk Kansas City Chiefs for the whole hour. We can fill this whole show with the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Chargers nitpicking, especially you start talking the tackles both being out for the Chargers. I was expecting a little more feast fest, but Chris Jones, boy, my boy Christopher Stone Cold Jones. Jeez Louise.
Yeah, he played okay. It wasn't too bad. It's about time, and he needs to triple that for all that money that he wanted. But like you said, we don't keep talking Kansas City. Let's go ahead and get into another game here. I don't have my laptop down here, so you're gonna have to take us through this.
Yeah, we'll walk it a little backwards. We'll go a little backwards with this one. We'll start with that Monday night games, and we'll start with the Miami versus Tennessee. Tennessee won 31 to
Tighten
12.
up. I told you,
I
tighten
know
up, baby.
you saved me from trying to take the leap with the Dolphins, and we call this the one game if Tennessee was going to win, it had to be this one.
It
And
had to
I
be.
thought it was fun to see, 31 points come out of nowhere. That Miami defense suddenly looking absolutely trash too. But when
I'm
you
trying
throw
to
in
tell you, they kind of washed. Tony Pollard was going crazy on them. Didn't
yeah,
he?
this just,
I think he went for over 100. Easy, I think at least. So,
I'm pretty sure it was close.
have you been
I
seeing?
don't have the
I was just saying. Speaking of Miami, have you been seeing the reports? They talking about the boy on the hot seat, like I've been talking about his job, man, coming up.
yeah
They want
108 yards for Tony Pollard.
oh, good deal. Well, yeah. What's the boy named Mike McDaniel, or is he Troy McDaniel? Which McDaniel is he? What's his name? McCarthy. I can't never remember his name. The Dolphins coach, your boy.
Oh, McDaniel's.
Yeah. So yeah, they've been talking about him. He on the hot seat, man. They were talking about what they starting to look at him, man. You can't really do nothing with this team. And was it really him saving Tua, or was Tua saving him, saving his job? Because the way it's looking, I'm trying to tell you, man, they're gonna be shopping for a new head coach here in Miami sooner than later.
Honestly, I thought they should have been shopping for a new general manager because we can blame
Mm-hmm.
them. I think it is a sign of a good coach, right? The ability to win games that you're not supposed to win. The games your starter goes out, you're still at least competitive. We can keep going on with the signs. Like God forbid if Mahomes went down, I would feel like Andy Reid and Brett Veach put themselves in a situation to still win games with Carson Wentz, right?
Yeah,
Like
Carson
obviously,
Wentz in our system. And what we got going on, Carson Wentz could come in and win. I can say he could win at least 9 games.
Yeah, yeah,
So, I
he can
mean, he's
still
already
make
shown he can take a team to the Super Bowl. So, I mean,
right.
I think we would be fine. We could win the Super Bowl with Carson Wentz because the system is just what it is.
Yeah, and that's what I'm exactly talking about with the Dolphins though. Is like, okay, you can go into the season with an injury prone quarterback. He gives you your best shot. I get it. I understand, right?
Right,
You Tua's not a great quarterback, but you're not in a position to upgrade, right? You're not going to find a better Tua, right? But
right,
what you can do is go into the season without Skylar Thompson. You can go into the season without having to look at the practice squad quarterback around the league, right? Look, you got Tyler Snoop Huntley, the Pro Bowl quarterback, right?
man.
The prime example of why the Pro Bowl doesn't mean nothing,
Jack
right?
Diddley,
Example, and you get like this is what happens. You lose to Tennessee, like
man.
with a backup quarterback, you should be able to beat Tennessee.
Especially because the quarterback is Mr. KC's arch nemesis, a dude who shouldn't even be playing quarterback at all. Uh, yeah, and like I said, they still wish they kept Malik. Like I said, every time they looking, even in that loss, we'll talk about that again sooner or later. But dude, Tennessee, even in that win, y'all have got to still be like, boy, we got to do something, and we got to do it quick.
Yeah,
And that's trade D Hop to Kansas City.
it's sad that we're looking at this funkiness with the quarterback situation. Like I think we should touch on it. You cannot tell me Will Levis is looking like the better choice. Maybe against this Dolphins team, but I'm not sure Malik wouldn't do it. Like if we're going to
Man.
be completely like, and I'm high on the Dolphins. I wanted the Dolphins were my AFC East playoff pick.
Man,
I
you had
thought they
even
were going
talked me
to.
into it.
Yeah, yeah, and all it took was a bump,
Yep.
and both seasons out the window. Week 3.
One bump. And all the
I
gang
love
signings in America. Good
it. I
night.
love it. Yeah, yeah.
Oh God. Yeah,
So this
so
one
well,
has been a little less depressing,
yeah.
but this is one of those picks we were split on. So this was nice to see the Seattle versus Detroit, and
Yeah.
boy did Detroit show up.
Yeah, they
42.
did. They was able to hold the Seahawks off. And and this is almost to go back to our conversation we had about Jared Goff and Geno Smith. Geno balled out. He had a way better game than Jared Goff. You just see the difference between the roster in certain areas was the key to that game. Like I said, the Lions, like I said, I've never said that they didn't, but they have the better roster for sure. Up and down. Except for like I said, except for certain spots, you can make arguments, like I said, wide receiver wise. But everywhere else, and like I said, except quarterback. I think Gino finally proved that. Like I said, he almost went for 400 on him. He had to throw it quite a bit, but he wasn't scared. He didn't back down. He came to play. Uh, like I said, it's just you ran to the better team that day. But yeah,
Yeah,
big shout out to the Lions for the dub for sure.
and I can't really blame Geno Smith for that loss in any way. If there's some kind of shade I could throw at him, I'd happily do it.
I
I'm
know
not
you would. He
right,
said I'd happily do it. Like I
right.
said, he played an amazing game, like I said, but sometimes when that other team is just more complete, you can have an amazing game. Ask Josh Allen. They said he had the best playoff game of all time and he lost. So, it happens, man. Amazing moments, but if you ain't got the mother if the rest of the 52 ain't ready, you know, anyway.
I'm right there with you. I mean, man, let's be honest. Detroit. is probably the juggernaut in the NFC. Like they're one of the better teams you're going to run into. So this is just a good benchmark regular season game
Yeah,
to
for
me for
sure. For
to
sure.
kind of show you.
I think and I think that's another playoff matchup potentially anyway. You might see them again later down the road, and you know what it takes this time. So we'll
Yes,
see though. I think Seattle's still a playoff team, even though we're still early, but we'll get along with it. We'll go further on. Who you got next for us?
yeah. Well, right before we touch on that, I do want to touch on the Seahawks playoff potential. I would say I'm more confident now in the Seahawks making the playoffs potentially than preseason, even after this loss. So
Hmm.
shout out to the Seahawks.
Big ups. Yep.
But
That's a lot
next on the
coming from
board,
Mr. KC Seahawks fans. So you always say you
yeah,
gotta take that.
yeah, bottom because you are in the bottom five of the teams I hate. So yeah, look, right now you're probably number three if we're going to be honest. You're the first one outside of the AFC West.
Right. I figured. It's the first one. And it was former
Yeah,
AFC West, man. Maybe this is deep stated history, man. Maybe it's just because. Even when they left the division, you're like, nah, boy. Like, you're like Josh
yeah.
Jacobs. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, going to Green Bay, telling him, nah, boy, I still don't mess with them. Dude. Ain't even in the division no more. I don't mess with them, boy. I don't do it. But no, that's what's up, though. Real talk. Standing on all 10.
So the next game we're going to talk about is one we both nailed. We both hit on this one. We both said this is an obvious win, and it obviously happened. It is the Baltimore Ravens versus the Buffalo Bills. The Baltimore Ravens dog walked them 35-10, mollywopped them, gave them the old
And
Baltimore
and
bundle.
I was 1 yard off from being perfectly right. Because didn't remember I said I wouldn't be surprised if Derek went for 200 on him. He had 199. I said I wouldn't be surprised if he went for 200 on these bums. Are you kidding me? Bro, like shout out to Big Trust and them Ravens. Like I said, I'm forever a Big Trust and Ravens fan. Mr. Casey has a lot of respect for him too. Like we got a lot of respect for the Ravens, even though we be beating them. I got a lot of respect for the Ravens because they usually always bring it. It's just usually never enough. But that's like fighting the Undertaker WrestleMania 1 through 20. He wouldn't lose. Just it just wasn't enough. He couldn't beat it. Uh, but yeah, man, shout out to Derrick Henry running in the form, really getting things done, like from beginning to the end. Had the most solid game I've seen them have in a very long time.
Yeah, and I thought this was a perfect game for them because they know that it's an important game, right? They know it's
Right.
an AFC opponent. They know they've been playing sloppy, and they know they should beat this team on paper easily. And we've seen them do it. Look, the Buffalo Bills have had an inflated style situation with what's going on with them. Like, we know that the Josh Allen Buffalo Bills have been overhyped playing weak teams. And a lot of people wanted to give them the credit. Oh, the Josh Allen's MVP status, this,
They ain't
that, and
play
the other.
nobody. That's the same thing we always talk about. They don't play nobody. And then when they run across some people who can actually play tackle football, boom wham. Buffalo down.
It was just discouraging. It was just wild to see that, like, it was hundred
How
percent accurate. This,
yeah.
this,
This was the lock of the week, Mr. KC. But well, at least in our eyes, we knew it. This was the lock of the week.
yeah. Yeah, and we like to preach anytime we both hit on the same game very confidently, like it just hits. It just hits, folks. And like it is not even just saying the Baltimore Ravens will beat the Buffalo Bills. You get these 200-yard predictions, right?
Man.
We ain't taking no 1 yard off. We round up.
Yeah, we round up. I said 200. He had 199. Anybody who does basic math know he had 200. It was 200. Like I
Yeah,
said,
and that's
man.
200 with the old. Derrick Henry is not a young cat. Like
Hmm.
let's be honest. So calling a 200-yard shot on a guy that some people were like, yeah, maybe.
Hmm.
Like that's
Man.
bold, folks. Here
Like I
for it.
said, it reminds you of what was it? AP's old season. I think when he was like 31 or something, he still ran for like 1,300 yards, something like that. It was something in the middle there. It was nasty either way. And that was that what you call it, AP? That was uh where did he go? Washington? Was it the Redskins? Where did he go after? I keep forgetting the name of the team because they were so terrible. Uh Wherever AP went after the Vikings, that's where he did it. I
Yeah,
keep forgetting the team. Huh?
he did the Commanders.
Yeah.
He did the Commanders. You got that right.
Oh, okay. I just can't remember what it was, dude. They had so many dudes, Clinton Portis and all these other dudes. They had some dogs.
Some
uh,
old dog.
yeah, old dogs. Yeah, exactly. So yeah. Anyway, big ups to these Ravens though, getting the dub as expected. Big trust, getting that thing done. And like I said, that running attack is dangerous. They can carry them a long ways. Like I said, they just got to figure out a way to beat the Chiefs because we don't let them get that kind of stuff off. Sorry to keep bringing up the wax, ladies and gentlemen, but when you see the hat and when it's two deep, two in a row, and you see the tribal chief on the shirt, and it's just sometimes it's just too much for the folks, man.
But, all right, next game on the board. We did already talk the Chiefs versus Chargers, so we'll skip that one. We might touch on it if we still have time at the end. But another pick that we both got right. We were both nervous. We were nervous about picking this, but we were talking about the Raiders versus the Browns, and the Raiders barely saved us with that 2016 dub. But
Man,
another dub on the board for us.
right. Controversies are not in the game. The Cleveland Browns will always be the Cleveland Browns without Baker Mayfield. It's just another reason why I said it should have kept Baker, but that's a whole nother story. And we're not gonna regale you with that one and go back in the time. But I bet they think about it all the time. Like, boy, we had a guy who could actually play, and then we decided that he couldn't, and we were gonna get rid of him. Good
Bro, he
night.
took playoffs. Like if you're a Browns fan, like it's disgusting to me because I definitely remember Alex Smith taking us back to the playoffs and being
Right,
like, "Yeah, this is even if we're not winning, at
right,
least we're in the hope." Like you got to sell at least hope. And for a team that never had hope, you never had hope. You never had hope. Okay, you hoped that your first round draft pick, that was the first overall pick every season, would finally be that guy. He wasn't. Like
man.
you keep on, he's not. You get Baker Mayfield, who brings success to your city, and you say, "No, we need better. We need more."
Man. And then you send him, and it's just crazy how he's been on four teams already. And then like I said, of all places, you send him down to Carolina. Well, not even send him down, relegated him down there. Then he had to endure that. And this is all kinds of stuff. So, man, big shout out to Baker for still sticking around and still having a starting job down in Tampa Bay. Big
Yeah,
up.
we're gonna get to that Tampa game here in a minute, but first, I do need to thank you for saving me. I was so close in this next game to picking the Patriots over the 49ers, and you said, no, don't do it. You slapped my hand. You said, don't make that pick. And it saved me from a bad loss because that 30-13, even with no one playing, nobody playing,
Man,
it's just no chance.
hmm. Sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do, man. And that's just the easiest way to sum that up. When two fires are roaring, dumpster like almost, just because of situation, you just got to go with the safer bet.
Yeah, and it definitely paid off with that one. 49ers get it done. The Patriots. I mean, at this point, you're wondering why Jacoby Brissett's still playing. Like we're done with
I've
it,
been wondering that. It's time to go ahead and get the rookie in and get his reps.
right? And look, even if it don't work out, you got to know you can't shelf the emergency button forever.
Right.
And this next game's a banger. We had a little banger of a matchup. Washington Commanders versus Arizona Cardinals. 42-14. Dear Lord. Jaden Daniels. How about that? Yeah.
I
Got
look, man. I'm loving to see the Commanders get these wins, man. Even if it's at the price of the what it cost. Even if it cost my boy Marvin Harrison Jr. He still got his in the game though. Still make productive. Doing it's still a bright spot. But dude, like we talked about before the season, bro, that's why it was so hard for me to pick the Commander schedule because I'm just like, if he comes out and plays like how he should, they might really be good. Like he's really been the piece they've been missing, and so I'm not surprised at all, honestly, and I hope it continues.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I feel like my best description of Jaden Daniels is you're getting the Timu version of Lamar Jackson's running ability, right? Like Lamar Jackson's a better runner. But I think you get a slightly upgraded arm with Jaden Daniels. And bro, that combination is it's it's there in the NFL for a reason. It is so hard to protect against a mobile quarterback.
Hmm. And that's what they had to figure out the long way. And like I said, shout out to Jaden Daniels. Like I said, we keep saying he was the best quarterback in the draft, and he just keeps showing it. Another
Yeah,
thing
yeah,
Chicago got wrong.
dude, yeah. It was unbelievable too. Like just, I wish I could have been in the room just to see and hear the conversations. I would have liked to had the interview with like both. I'd like to see the interview with both these guys in Chicago. Like, what
Right,
really made you pick Caleb Williams besides the consensus number one pick? Right?
right.
We
Besides
everybody
the
says
hype. It remind me when the Lakers took Lonzo Ball, just cause.
that's inaccurate. That's inaccurate. About being
So,
able to sell just goes a long ways too. I'm gonna be
man.
honest.
So,
Uh,
anyway.
yeah, next one. This is a rough one to see. The Houston Texans defeated the Jags 24-20. We know the Texans are that team, but we're getting in kind of desperation mode in Jacksonville. And you get
It's time to hit the button. It's time to blow it up. And it's time, I mean, from the front office all the way down to the coach.
yeah.
It's time to do it.
So
It's time to pull the plug. Say it
well,
one
you
more time, Mr.
should
KC.
have the quarterback to be competitive with T Law. I think he's good enough to get the job done. So he's
Man,
a good coach.
he showed that he's good enough to get it done before. We just what's going on with are the playbooks changing? Like what's going on? Like it just seems like everybody's out of sync. It's like what are y'all even doing at practice?
Yeah, I got a lot of questions about Dougie P right now. It's not looking good.
Like I said, man, you sold out and left everything down in Philadelphia. Like what's going on with you? Is this why
Yeah, it just don't make
Philadelphia got rid of you?
it. It's looking like they made the right move. I feel a lot better about Nick Sirianni than I do Dougie P.
Yeah, they're in the same realm,
Yeah.
but I definitely feel you on that.
We got another game. Cincinnati versus Carolina. 34-24. This is another one that like you pretty much saved me on because I was considering the Panthers. And I
Right.
think it's disgusting that this was even a conversation.
Yeah, like I said, we knew they would beat the Panthers. Like I said, the Panthers, even though they got their dub, they still are the worst team in the NFL. And you pretty much gifted the win to Cincinnati. And they still had to beat you by 10. You know what I'm saying? They still had to get 34 to your 24. So says a
Yeah,
lot about
yeah.
them.
Now let's get on to this disappointing game. This is what I call a very disappointing, sad to see game. That's the Denver Broncos beating the New York Jets 10-9. 10-9.
This goes back to what I've been saying that Aaron Rodgers and the Jets are trash. And to lose to the most trash team in the AFC West is a travesty. You talk about now the AFC East is really now at this point the Bills to lose, and I hate and I say that so reluctantly because the Jets are so they're so ass that I don't think they're going to beat them either time they play. I don't think it's going to happen. I think they'll be able to beat New England, be able to beat Miami, but I don't think they can get it done against the Bills. They too shitty, even though the Bills are terrible. But Aaron, like I said, man, take your perks and your ayahuasca, and just going out to the wilderness, man. Like I said, bro, you ain't seen Aaron Rodgers smile on the football field in 10 years. Even all the way back to Green Bay, all you see is the same. This is what he do every play.
Yeah. And I mean, you're talking about losing to Bo Nix throwing 60 yards. 60 yards is what Bo Nix put out. And you cannot beat the Timu version of Tebow. Like, what do we? I'm. I thought there might be a little bit of hope that the Jets could make the AFC East competitive, but I'm right there with you. It's the Bills have got that locked up. There's no way. I don't even know if they lose Josh Allen if they lose the AFC East. Like, let's be honest. This is just cakewalk territory.
That's what I'm saying. I'm so reluctant to say that the Bills are going to make the playoffs when I keep trying to get them out of it. But don't worry, when I can't get them out, I know a bad man down. 20 minutes from 20 minutes from my current location, who wears the number 15, he'll get them out of there.
Yeah, thankfully.
Right. If I can't do it, Pat will get him.
Right there
Oh
with
God.
you. All right, on to the next game. Fuck the F the Broncos. Um,
Yes.
well,
Yes.
kind of an upset for you here. This is one I picked though. This is one we split on. I thought it could happen and it did. The Indianapolis Colts beat Pittsburgh
That
27-24. And talk
that
about a
they
hell of
did. That they did. It was one slobber knocker of a game. Um, I'm still sticking with the Pittsburgh Steelers winning the North, but this was a good game. Well, like I said, it was pretty much a must win for the Colts. Like I said, if you're trying to stay competitive in the South, you see the Jags are shit in the bed. You got a real prime opportunity to stay right there behind Houston and even catch them. You got a rematch coming against them soon. So we'll see what happens in that regard. But shout out to y'all, man. Shout out to you.
And this is something I'd like to point out for any Dolphins fans, right? So, Indianapolis Colts have Anthony Richardson. Not to sound mean, but questions about health. We wonder if the guy can play a full season. He gets injured. They bring in Joe Flacco. See, what they did was they prepared for the just in case. The just in case we still need to be a competitive team. And look, Joe Flacco is not my desired quarterback to have, but as a backup, It's exactly the kind of situation Miami, like if Miami had Joe Flacco right now, how confident would they be feeling? It's the same. A lot
They
better.
still be winning games if they had Joe Flacco. If he
They
can do
might
it for
still win.
Cleveland, you best believe he can do it with Tyreek Hill in there.
He's doing it for Cleveland, did it for Indy. You tell me he
Man,
couldn't do it with Miami, bruh. Should have thrown a little bag at him. We don't. It's a backup quarterback position. It don't even cost a lot. What are we
right.
doing? In this next game, we both got wrong. I thought the comeback was going to make it possible, but it did not happen. That is the Minnesota Vikings beating Green Bay Packers 31-29. And I thought our boy Jordan Love was going to carry it.
Yeah. It was a stinger of a loss, but good to see Jordan Love back on the field and getting back into real playing shape. And like I said, this thing don't shake nothing out. Green Bay still going to the Super Bowl. But I'm more impressed that Sam Darnold is able to continue this offensive onslaught that he's been putting on. And big shout out to the Vikings for that. Shout out Justin Jefferson, continues to establish himself as the best receiver in the league, no matter who's throwing him the ball. And, you know, I always like the Vikings. The former kings of the North look like they're trying to stay the kings of the North. So
They're
we're going to
not going
see.
down without.
Now
They
without a
are
fight,
not.
and I love it.
And I didn't expect this out of Sammy Darnold. Let's be honest.
Nobody
No,
did.
you get out of that Jets organization, the world could be a different place.
Told you they kill careers there. That's why I keep telling you, you need to cut Geno more slack. He endured saying and been able to come back from something that most people couldn't.
Yeah,
The Jets is a killer, man. Like I said, that's like pre CJ Stroud going to the Texans.
right. Yeah, it's first of a franchise,
Purgatory,
dodging bullets.
man.
All right, on to the next game. This is another loss for me. I got back-to-back ones here. And I really thought this was going to be the upset of the week, but it did not happen. The Chicago Bears beat the Los Angeles Rams 24-18.
Yeah, that they did. That they did. Um, Rams got a lot of injuries. There's a lot of things I could say. Congratulations, Chicago. I'm not a hater. Good job. I don't think he's still going anywhere, but good job. Kudos to you.
Yeah, and on this show, we don't blame refs. So you will hear, I will say the injury excuse is legit for the Rams. Cooper Cup and Puka Nuka,
Man.
whatever the boy's name is, I can't
Yeah.
say it. Young man, I should have called him boy. It's disrespectful. Apologize. But yeah, like it's just uh, a healthy Rams team. I think won that game 9 out of 10 times. Probably 10 out
For
of 10
sure.
if we're going to be
I was
honest.
about to say for sure. Yeah. So, like I said, yeah, y'all got them when the time was right to get them. So, good job. Congratulations. And like I said, we'll see if you can go anywhere else from there.
Right. Now, I'm not sure on this next game. I feel like you also picked Atlanta. You picked Atlanta versus the Saints.
Yeah, I did pick Atlanta.
Yeah, I felt like you did. I thought you got that one right too. I couldn't remember, and I didn't go back and watch the video,
No, the only
so
time
I
I don't
wasn't
pick Atlanta is when they play in the Chiefs.
right.
No, but
Yeah, and I
no.
think that was a good one. 26-4. Nice battle in the AFC or the NFC South. That dirty
Hmm.
South is.
And we're about to
Shout
do the
out to
Falcons another favor. Nate, this coming Monday, when we take the Saints home to the river, we give y'all a little. We extend that lead for y'all a little bit.
yeah. That's gonna be a dog. I think that's gonna be a little bit of a shootout. maybe not. That Chiefs defense is nasty, bro.
Yeah.
Nasty. All right, the last game of the week. And I think we both got this one right, if I'm not mistaken. The Tampa Bay defeats Philly
Yep.
33-6.
Yeah, we both picked Big Baker for that one, and like I said, it's just a part of my the Eagles still ain't got a train. Like I said, I'm still not sold on it. I'm not interested in the Saquon acquisition and stuff. It's not like how it's not like Baltimore getting Derrick Henry. It's not the same effect. It's just like, oh, they got Saquon now. Okay, let's see how long he can stay healthy. Let's see how long Jalen stay healthy. Let's see what they do behind this busted line. And anyway, they've had a few moments. Like I said, the eyes are shining and the teeth are gritting. Whoa, I don't know what that was there. But anyway, either way, um, who cares about the Eagles? I still don't have them making the playoffs. Big ups to them.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm right there with you. Like, I think this one was the most obvious to us looking at the Vegas line, and we both could see it was just plain out disrespectful. Like, they called the Eagles favorites in Tampa Bay, and I thought that was pretty wild. And it was
Hey,
just one of those, like, everybody's betting Philly for, for whatever reason, whatever you could see in that to bet wise. But it was like, I don't think people realize how legitimate this Tampa Bay team actually is right now. Baker Mayfield is looking very solid, and anytime you have a solid Phil and Baker, that they can go out and play with anybody.
let
They
me
have the
ask you
wide.
this: would you put Baker up there with Jared Goff?
No, I would have Baker slightly below Jared Goff,
You think so?
and yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, I would take Jared Goff before I took Baker. Maybe age wise, like if we're talking long term, I might lean slightly Baker, but I'd feel more confident in Jared Goff. And I would also probably slide Geno Smith probably at least one ahead of Baker, if not maybe even two. I'd still take
I
Geno
wasn't even
over him
thinking
as well.
about Geno. But yeah, now you guess he could fit right in that kind of dynamic. I was just thinking because really Baker has a lot of big game ability, and that's why I was really asking you like which one because I know he's your boy, and so I was just kind of surprised to hear you say that you still go golf because I'm kind of leaning toward Mayfield in that kind of situation though. Because well, I'm not saying Jared Goff is scared of the situation, but I know Baker Mayfield's gonna come in and play with everything that he got because that's what he usually do whether it ends up terrible or
Yeah,
whether it ends up in a the most beautiful kind of blowout you ever seen, maybe. You know what I mean?
yeah, and I'm right there with you. I kind of see what you're saying. Like, I think it's more of a consistency thing. You're going to get more consistent, good gameplay out of Jared Goff. But if you wanted to make the argument that like that big game ability, like who can really blow out a team and really show out, you might have a higher ceiling with Baker Mayfield. But I don't think the gap's too
That
huge.
big.
But I
Got you.
think they're when we're talking about these three quarterbacks, I do feel like they're all right in that same kind of grouping. There's,
Got you.
I'm not going to get salty if you chose Baker Mayfield number one out of the three. Even Geno Smith's got an argument out of the three, but I'd still feel most confident with Jared Goff.
Yeah, that's pretty good. You can't, like I said, logically, you can't really argue with that because, yeah, I'm not gonna say you're kind of gonna get the same thing, but I guess it's just really what you're trying to do in that situation. Maybe, maybe it's a situational argument. Who knows? Because I mean, in my estimation, you couldn't go wrong with either three if you needed a quarterback for your team, and there wasn't nobody else available, and there was the last three. Yeah, I can see that. Like I said, just depending on how your team's built, most people are like, well, shoot, yeah, we can get consistent maybe 200-yard games out of golf. Well, then you be like, yeah, we can get, he might get 180 this day, but he might go for 475 the next day with Baker. The same thing then with Gino. Like, okay, he's probably gonna throw for maybe 180 and rush for about 50. Like, you know what I'm saying? It just depends on what you're looking for. So I feel you on that.
Yeah, and it does depend on what you're doing as a coach too. the mobility of Geno does give you an aspect, an edge over the other two in a different kind of light, in my opinion. Like
Right.
if you're Jim Football, you might really appreciate Geno Smith right now.
Oh, shoot, if you could have had him, yeah, to back up Lamar continually.
Yeah,
Yeah, you talk about that's safety in the franchise. I would say then you start feeling like Andy Reid when you look at his backups.
yeah, and it's wild to me when you see a team with a terrible backup situation. Like the Tennessee Titans really should be having a quarterback controversy. Like if they didn't throw it was is how I knew the season was going to be junk. Like if you're
Right.
going in there with Will Levis, day one, game one, throw the season away. We're done. We're done.
Man,
What are we doing here?
and my only thing after this, so do you do you try to go ahead and make the move for Sam Darnold next year once they get McCarthy back? Because you know they're gonna stick with their rookie, or or do you make a play for the rookie if you think they're gonna keep Sam Darnold?
I'm just saying, if you're the Vikings, are you really going JJ over Sam Darnold?
You see, this reminds me of the LC. It goes back to the Trey Lance and the Brock Purdy, and then as many examples as we've seen before. This is the perfect situation. My only thing: do you think Sam Darnold's going to have continued sustained success going forward for your franchise, or is the dude that you wanted out the draft, who you was grooming to be the next?
I feel like I'm throwing a 3 years, 45 million per at Sam. Is what I think.
He's at 3 years, 45 million per. Hey, what? Just leave McCarthy on the bench?
I'm either benching him. I'm looking at trading. To be honest with you, I'm seeing if I can't pull back out a second or first round pick out of that deal. But I mean, if you got to have him on the bench, it's an expensive bench piece, and it's not really the ideal situation. But I mean, yeah, you got to go with the hot hand. Chiefs fans, we've been in this situation with what was it, Elvis Grbac and Steve Bono. Remember those days? And they
Yeah, but yeah, I remember. But yeah, it was a good night.
got to
Oh
go.
God, that
And
situation was
luckily,
just so dire like that. Like either way, between them two, anyway. That was back. Good night. Anyway, yeah, we're gonna
yeah.
see though.
And I think they're kind of lucky. They get a full season to find out. You get a full year of Sam Darnold to really see what you've got. But 4 weeks is not 17. There's a long road to go before you really got to throw that contract or cross that bridge. But it's hard to.
Now, if he
It's
mess
hard.
around and win MVP, then you got to give him that money. Trade McCarthy. That's what you do. You trade him to Las Vegas. Trade him to a place a destination that has no quarterback at all. He's got to go to Vegas, or he can go to Carolina and save them from having to try to get somebody out the draft this year if somebody don't come out unless Shador comes out and people want to fall into that trap, they can do it. But that's a whole nother story. Uh, I think you could make that trade though. I think you can get him off somewhere.
Yeah, really, the only question is how much you're getting back out of them. But that's nice.
Now, if we can get a quarterback on a rookie deal like that, always back up past shoot. We'll take a flyer on JJ. You study behind Pat Terrell for the for the next 8 years, or like I said, you'll play every now and then, but you just always be ready for your moment.
Yeah,
I
I think
call
we'll
Chase
probably.
Daniel. I would say learn from Chase Daniel. Call Chase Daniels and learn the way of the backup. We got Chad hitting on speed out. He got 2 Super Bowls. He won 2 playoff games. Hey man, it's like trust me, you'll get an opportunity. Oh God. I don't see how
I got,
how
we got some crazy stats looking at this Seahawks and Lions game. So the Seahawks had 38 first downs, and that's most in NFL history in a loss. So you
man.
definitely can't, you know. But let's look at my boy Jared Goff's little stat line here.
Okay.
Little stat line. 18 for 18 for 292 and two tutties and a 7-yard receiving touchdown.
So he didn't miss one pass. 18 for 18.
Yeah, perfect completion rate. Minimum 15 passes. First guy to ever do it.
So he played the perfect game, huh? No hitter.
18 for 18 for me is like it's impressive, but 18 is slightly light. Like if we're
Right.
gonna be
I was about to say because I was Lamar Jackson throw it at least 20 times a game. But
yeah,
anyway,
like I feel like if it was a 25 for 25 kind of mark, maybe even slide it down to 23, 24. But I
right,
think we need at least another five there.
right.
But 18 out of
Okay.
18, that's impressive.
Yeah, that's not bad. And what did Gino end up with?
I didn't see his. I just seen he got the 38 first downs. But let's pull up Geno Smith's stat line. That is a good question because that was it's not his fault. And 18 out of 18 ain't stopping nobody.
Not usually.
Let me see. Got the old laptop up, blow off the dust.
Usually you got to boot and stuff. Computer got to boot it up.
Let's get there. Let's get to my favorite pro football reference is my preferred place to look at stats. I know it's
Uh-oh.
not the most killing, but for us stat nerds, they put it all out there for you. And I really appreciate them for that. So we'll pull up
Them
pro football.
jabronis, jabronis. Yeah, jabronis.
Let's see,
Shout out to the meat. And shout out to
38,
Siri. How much?
38 for 56. So he threw more than twice as many passes as old Jared Goff.
He was airing that
Uh,
thing out.
yeah, 67.9% completion rate, which is really, really pretty solid. That's not
He
bad.
especially throw the ball 56 times.
Yeah, right. That puts out an average. 395 yards, as you touched, one tutty, one interception. The long of 29, which is still a pretty good long pass. 29 yards. Pretty respectable, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's getting the ball downfield, man. And like I said, with those kind of numbers, it's shocking that they lost, especially with 38 first down. So, like I said,
Yeah,
you ran into a
38
team that
yards on
just
the game.
said again.
He also had 38 on the ground, so over 400 yards on the day.
Total offense, yeah. I said, Gino, man, big respect for you, Gino, man. I'm always gonna ride with you, man. And you didn't get a fair shake at first, but Seattle, it's a Pete Carroll brought you in and everything. They giving you a fair shake, man. Keep balling. Even though y'all lost, y'all are still in my mind one of the premier. I got you on a championship game. Y'all versus Green Bay. So I ain't too much worried about this loss. And to hear Mr. KC even say he feel comfortable with y'all, even though he hates y'all in that list, it makes me know that y'all are playing some quality ball, even though you lost. But he recognized what's going on. So that's a testament in itself.
Well, folks, we're going to go ahead and call it a show before the phone dies, so
Oh,
you
yeah.
can cut off with that goodbye.
Right.
But this has been your week 4 update, and shout out to everybody on Rumble that's been supporting us, and the YouTube folks. Y'all been great.
Yes, sir. We'll catch you next time. Peace.